Welcome to the final lecture video of Biology 189. In this video, we're going to talk about the muscular system. In this video, we're going to discuss how muscles are able to apply force on our skeleton, which allows for our body to move. Skeletal muscles pull on bones to produce movements. It is antagonistic pairs of muscles which produce opposite movements of our appendages and of our body. So what's actually happening within the muscles that allow them to apply this force? Skeletal muscles consist of bundles of parallel muscle fibers. Now, muscle fibers are the names of the muscle cells that make up our skeletal muscles. Now, each skeletal muscle cell or fiber contains bundles of myofibrils. A myofibril is an organized section of actin and myosin filaments that allow for contraction. Skeletal muscles are striated or striped because the myofibrils exhibit alternating light and dark bands when viewed under a light microscope. A region of contraction of a skeletal muscle is known as a sarcomere. And it's the region between two dark, narrow lines called Z-lines, which mark the ends of that sarcomere. Now, a single muscle fiber will have many of these sarcomeres lined end to end. A myofibril, this contracting region of the muscle, is composed of two kinds of proteins. We have the thin filaments, which are composed primarily of the protein actin. And then we have the thick filaments, which are composed of the protein myosin. And it's the way that actin and myosin interact with each other that allows for muscular contraction. A sarcomere contracts when its thin filaments slide across the thick filaments. We can see here thin filaments extending from the Z-lines within that sarcomere, extending into the region which contains the dark band, which is made of myosin. As that sarcomere contracts, those thin filaments are pulled towards the center of the dark myosin bands. Contraction is fully completed once those Z-lines become adjacent to the dark band. In the sliding filament model of muscular contraction, the key event is the binding between parts called heads of the myosin molecules and specific sites on the actin molecules, known as the thin filaments. The myosin heads stretch out using energy from ATP. They bind to a location on the actin filament, and then they release that tension, pulling the actin filament closer to the center of the sarcomere. Another ATP will then energize that myosin head, stretching it back out to its tense position, allowing it to bind to another region of the actin, and again, pulling that thin filament towards the center of the sarcomere. Motor neurons stimulate muscles to contract. That one motor neuron can connect to a number of muscle fibers. A motor unit consists of a single motor neuron and all of the muscle fibers that it controls. The strength of a muscular contraction depends on the number of motor units which are activated. An animal's nervous system connects sensations derived from environmental stimuli to responses carried out by its muscles. All of this is controlled by an animal's nervous system. With that, this brings us to the end of the content in our Bio 189 course. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about biology during this series, and remember to revisit any of these videos if you need to recall information necessary for future classes as well. With that, thanks for your attention, and I wish you the best in all of your academic endeavors.